Hey guys, my name is Lerato Sebata. Welcome back to my channel. Of course, I am your procurement lady and a business coach. Guys, before I start this video, I do want to say that we have a masterclass that is coming up on the 2nd of August at 5:30 to 7 p.m. Please do check it out on my social media. I've posted this on my Instagram and TikTok. We are going to be talking about bid to win. You do not want to miss the sauce. You don't want to miss what I have for you there. The intention is to grow the knowledge and the skills of how you're bidding so that you can thrive in the competitive bidding landscape and of course grow your business. If you're interested, inbox or rather email on info@rigroup.co.za. Alternatively, send a WhatsApp on our business line, which is 078-027-9921, and we'll be able to assist you. Kadi Tutsa August, don't I did not tell you, bid to win. We have a masterclass. Now, let's get on with this video. Guys, today we want to talk about the hot topic of all times in the procurement space, right? Which is construction contractors. Why 50 or more % of tenderers that would have won the bid for construction, most of the time those construction tenders don't finish their projects, or something just wrong happens. You know that construction tenders, guys, they are highly saturated, 1, and 2, there's a lot of failure rate. Just tell me why that happens. And 3, it seems also very hard to penetrate that market, right? And I just want to touch on this few things today. If you don't find a main contractor that does not pay subcontractors on time, then you find main contractors that probably do fraudulent activities, and or suppliers don't get paid on time, or just projects also don't finish on time. Why does this happen all the time in construction tenders? What's so wrong with construction? Nenzani, guys. So I just want to chat about this today because I do know this is one of the hot topics. Procurement people are always on their edge whenever they have to appoint a contractor because, listen, 1, the contractor might not be able to finish the project. 2, the contractor may have issues with the subcontractors and they end up coming to the client because poor management. 3, main contractor would have just undercoated. Why do we still have these issues in South Africa? In fact, a lot of times, guys, after procurement awards, this type of tenders, trust me, you can ask any procurement specialist in those departments, they do know 50, if not more, % of those contractors will not be able to finish the projects. If they do finish the project, they'll be holding on. Let's just finish so that we make the client happy. So I think it's important for us, guys, to chat about these things today and just figure out what is the root cause to these issues. Why do we still have contractors that don't finish jobs? Why do we still have contractors that find it hard to find these jobs? And or not knowing how to price still, So in my years of experience in procurement and working with contractors, I can tell you one thing that I know most contractors don't do right. 1, do project coordination, project planning, or even quantifying, right? With the quantity surveyors, their costing, right? This is the biggest issue. Quantifying of pricing. Why is it so difficult for contractors to actually quantify the fees that are required to start and finish the project, or even let alone going through the line items? Some of the contractors, they decide that I can cost myself to do this refurbishment or this building, this renovation, this new building that we need to construct. But guys, I can tell you this, a lot of times you need a quantity surveyor to actually come and do your costing for you. And also, while we add to it, some of the quantity surveyors themselves, they're still using old rates. I know, I'm a QSs. I know you guys, you don't always go and look for pricing regarding that building. For example, if let's say there's a tender that is out and you need to have a new building construction in CBD, and there's also a new tender that comes out to say there's this school that needs refurbishment, and there's probably a new tender that comes out with maybe the specification for refurbishing a commercial building, and you have one QS that has worked or have been asked by all these 3 parties to quote. Trust me, they're going to be using the same rates. QSs, guys, have a tendency to just keep a spreadsheet, maybe from this year Jan, they use last year's estimates and just add a little bit of markup and say, okay, maybe the rate per square meter is this much, it could have been this much, it might just be this much, and so it's not always the case that they'll go and actually review on source new codes to be able to quote and or cost their BOQ, right? I mean, of course, they are experts in the field. I'm not even questioning their expertise, but I'm just saying that sometimes what they do, and there are times where it does compromise the main contractor. I don't know if you guys ever have heard of situations where main contractor will blame the QS, or the client will blame the quantity surveyor that would have appointed this quantity surveyor to say, guys, we want to go on tender for this. We need to refurbish these buildings. Can you come and be our consultants? We'll pay your consulting fee. Give us a BOQ that we will use to send out these tenders out. And when the contractors then, of course, they bid and they price, then the client realizes, good, hi man, we don't have enough budget. How does that happen? During a project, right? Clients figure that this 4 million rand that we're given by this QS as an estimate is not working, and sometimes you do find some of them being sued, right? But that is not, of course, separate from the issues that contractors themselves experience with the very same quantity surveyors when they need to submit bids. And why does this happen? Why do we still find ourselves in this type of issues? Purely, guys, my experience is that some of the contractors also rely too much on their quantity surveyors and other professionals in a project, that they don't go and actually question, confirm, and validate that these prices are a-okay, right? Of course, if you are not an expert in these things, I wouldn't expect you to be, but at least I expect you to know or have an idea and confirm that you've done your quality assurance before any bid is submitted. Né? So that as a contractor, you don't run the risk of underpricing. Of course, under normal circumstances, this is always the case. Or you obviously overprice because you just trusted what the QS said. Or the other variable, guys, is that you would have then priced correctly, but maybe your contingency is not enough. When client starts, adding on scope creeps and additional things, and you don't know how to go about it, and you get stuck and end up not finishing projects. That's what usually happens in these construction projects. And I think it is important for contractors and for guys who are out there doing construction projects to look into these things. The other issue that I've noticed, guys, is unable to finish projects, right? And there are many different reasons why contractors are not able to finish projects. I just want to tell you quick stories on some of the ones I have experienced in my, procurement fraternity and experience in supply chain. Is that once a contractor has been appointed, they quickly go and appoint lots of subcontractors to come and do the work. The main contractor ends up just being the project manager. You can debate and actually argue with me and say, Lerato, I want to challenge you. Of course, I would love the challenge, but why are you the main contractor when you all you do is to be a PM? That is just a route for disaster. And this happens quite a lot, right? Even some of the big companies that we know, they do appoint a subcontractor, and subcontractor has another subcontractors. Hey man, yes, there's just a whole pyramid scheme. Why does this happen? Because there's less expertise or knowledge or technical skills internally by those very same companies or contractors that actually want to execute this work, that they have won the tender. And what happens is, because they don't have the internal expert knowledge, or they have the capabilities internally, then they'll go and appoint this one. And then Lerato goes and appoint ROI Group CC. ROI Group CC goes and appoint, Sebata LTD. And then it becomes a thing, right? You guys follow me. You can follow through, right? So, and that's another issue, So another thing is, while you are in this debacle of dealing with so many subcontractors and who's reporting where lines, roles and responsibilities get lost in between. Yes, the main contractor will always keep the client happy. They will be the client facing. They'll be communicating with the client. Mara, yay! Why? Because there's just a long list and no one can actually manage these things properly, right? I'm mentioning these things, guys, so that you are aware, either as a subcontractor, who is then your main contractor, and is it really the main contractor, or they are the sub of the main of the sub of the main to the main, or actually you are directly contracted with your clients. If you are then directly contracted with the clients, even better. But even there, you still need to manage your budget quite well, right? And the other issue, guys, is scope creep. Clients have a tendency to just add on scope, And you know what? I think I'm also guilty of that. I don't want to lie. I'm guilty of being a client that is demanding, that wants this, because there's lack of knowledge. You think that if you just paint this thing green and you remove this purple, you think it's just as easy as that. But you know what? Some of the consultants that are appointed on the project, which is PMs and the other professionals don't explain the impact, you know. It's like, let's say you need a wallpaper and you're like, I want this wallpaper, and then like, I don't like how it's sitting there, I want you to move it and put it the other side. Of course, that's time. Maybe you're losing material, you need more material, maybe there's no glue now to add there. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm just making a very silly small thing, but this usually happens in construction tenders. Whether it's constructing a house, refurbishing an office, or building a conglomerate building, a business somewhere, kokaikai, headquarters, this usually happens. And wiser companies, how they manage this scope creeps, is there's a change control notice or change management process whereby they're very strict. This is where PMs need to be on their toes. Project managers need to be on their toes and literally checking things on site and saying, Lerato, you want this, it was not part of the scope, this is how much it's going to cost, this is where it is going to go to on the project, and therefore do you have money? And if I'm the client, I'm saying, okay, cool, I've got money, we record the change and we move on, right? But if I don't have money, I'm like, we can't do this change of yours, thank you very much. Cool. But guess what? A lot of contractors don't have those PMs on site, in fact, managing those things. I mean, there's a difference between having a foreman and a project manager. We can agree with that. Whether it's a small or big project, it doesn't matter. The point is that you need this functionality and these services on site to manage this type of changes. If a disaster then happens on site, which was unforeseen, that should have been rather managed from the beginning in terms of the contractors indicating these are the risks that could happen in the project, and this is my risk register, and this is how I'm going to manage the risks. Matter all of that, it's not part of the tender, it's not part of the plan, it's not part of what the client approved, and then things happen on site. Guess what? It's either you as a contractor, you will be paying for the delays, the damages, etc., or the client now have to go and dig deep into their pockets and start taking out money that they don't have. That contractors always assume that the client has money and there is no money. Listen, I've been in situations where contractors were actually taken off site and brought in new contractors because those ones did not manage the project very well. And what happens is that sometimes suppliers, they think our clients, they always have money. You know, when a business is given budget, guys, to, let's say they say 10 million rand to refurbish these offices, and you get awarded 9.5 million rand, and the business records 500k as a saving to this project, that money gets reallocated somewhere in the business to do other things. Guys, done. So now, as a contractor, and you're making all these mistakes and things are happening on site, you're not managing your projects, and you think that the client will have money. Where? Because that means the client, let me tell you something what happens internally in these corporate companies. The client needs to go and request for additional budget. They must go sit in a business finance meeting with executives, with accountants, with some of the CAs, and then they must go to a leadership, whatever, approvals. There's also different boards depending on how much you need the budget. And those budget sittings, they have different meetings. They don't just sit every week. Maybe one happens once a quarter. And even if that once a quarter, the client goes and requests money, they might only get it that quarter, right? Maybe the third or the fourth time is because they have to justify why. And can you imagine what happens in the 6 months, 7 months, and suppliers on the other side, which is the contractors, who then are sitting and waiting. They're taking forever. Why are they taking so long? It's because people don't understand these things, right? It's a lot, guys. I know I'm touching on too many things at the same time, but this video is actually intended for the subcontractors, the contractors that are actually bidding into corporate organizations and dealing with these construction projects. But I want you guys to appreciate the admin, to appreciate the work that goes into corporate companies. It's even worse dealing with public sector departments. Even worse, you know, government guys have a long hierarchy of approval processes. There is documents after documents. It's very much stringent, right? So it's not as easy as a quick meeting that can be called at a private company where there's a special sitting quick to come and discuss your project, and then this executive and this MD and this department head is not happy with them. They can quickly go and make decisions fast, right? I mean, if I say fast, not like a fast a week, but probably fast a month or two. Mara, what the government offices, uzolinda. You shall wait. So as contractors that are bidding, ensure that firstly you have quantified your cost properly. Ensure that the QS that you're using, firstly, they are certified quantity surveyors. You know, there are people that are just not certified to do what they're doing, but they are doing it. This is South Africa. And then 3, Make sure that your project is well planned. You know, you have a proper plan that you stick to, and you manage your change control for any scope creep or any scope increase, right? And then I just want to talk about the last thing, which is usually the barriers of entry. You know, construction, guys, about 2000 and maybe 9, 10 there, right? Or even before. It started growing and growing. Anyone can literally enter this. Its barriers of entry are very minimal, meaning the requirements, they are very minimal. But to get a job, to get a contract, sometimes now it's hard because a lot of people are into construction business. And what then will make you stand out, you need to decide what type of construction you're going to be focusing on, or what type of contractor you're going to be, and which clients you're going to go for, and how do you even survive and navigate this world, because there's just a lot that goes into it, right? So guys, this is what I just wanted to talk about today. We need to avoid these failed mistakes in construction projects, right? And the only way you can try and mitigate these issues is by firstly pricing correctly with your QS. Review the QS rates, sit down with your quantity surveyor, ask questions if you need to. If you don't have money to pay for a QS and you're pricing the BOQ yourself to submit the bid, then ensure that wherever you're getting pricing, you give them the exact right scope or measurements, at least to some degree, right? And then do a proper project management, right? You need a proper project management plan. It's not always wise to just think at the top of your head as Lerato Kisna project management certificate or even understanding, and I just think we'll do roof ning, we'll do the doors ning, and then we'll finish by whatever, and don't even build buffer and time there. Let's not even talk about PNGs. Some people don't even know how to calculate preliminary in general. So you see, it's just a lot, right? And the other thing is, of course, certification is important. NHBRC certificates, and don't CIDBs and them. You are then certified and qualified, at least, or even getting those accreditations is very important. It does give you props with the clients, né? But most importantly is ensuring that you know what role you are playing in a construction project. If you are a subcontractor, please, Ngala, you must know the difference in terms of your roles and responsibilities between a subcontractor, a partnership, and a main contractor. Don't take on liability that is not yours, and take on responsibility that is only yours as a subcontractor. If you are sub of a sub of a sub of a sub, your payment process is, I don't even want to say. So another thing is your payments, right? A lot of times most contractors, they do not get paid on time. Neither do they have enough money to fund the project during the process. Before you even tender for that contract, ensure that you have built enough capital to at least build it as a contingency in a way, right? If you don't have enough capital, at least be sure that you have your guarantees in place. Payment guarantees, something, surety that you will have in place so that the client is not compromised during execution of the project, because sometimes, trust me, the clients take time, and you'll find that there are milestone payments. But these milestone payments, they don't even get paid on time as per the plan. Because why? Someone is not managing something correctly. So I would advise that you have governance meetings with your procurement teams or the end users of your from the client side, so that you manage, you tightly manage. If your project manager got to lele when I and be here as an owner, because construction is hectic, guys. We can talk a lot about failed stories. But all I just want to mention today is look out for these things when you are a contractor and manage them well. We don't form part of the 50-60% failed contractors, and then they remove you on site. How embarrassing. And they come and put someone else there to come and do your work. My God, that's not what you want. Anyway, guys, if you did like this video today, please do like, share, and subscribe. These are some of the conversations we'll have randomly, and making you aware so that we all grow and we don't make mistakes as per usual, and we become better people, right? Subscribe, like, share, and comment, and let me know if you did like this video. Otherwise, if you need me to help you guys, you can email me on info@rigroup.co.za. Lastly, before I leave, we do have a masterclass coming up on the 2nd of August. Please do look out for that masterclass. You can find it on my Instagram and TikTok I think I did also post it here on YouTube. So the masterclass is about bid to win. So if you do wanna know the bidding strategies, competitive strategies that will put your bid somewhere on top and grow your business, please do come through. It is only 350. So guys, invest in your knowledge, invest in your time, invest in your business, learn these things so that you are equipped for life, right? I can't help everyone at the same time, and some of the emails, guys, that are coming through to me, they're just bizarre. So I need you guys to learn and to grow and be independent. That is the intention of this channel. Anyway, if you did like this video, please continuously like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.